Welcome to the second inaugural.
Nah, not inaugural.
Second version.
Second episode.
Second episode. Welcome to the second episode of the Hayhurst Brothers Vidcast. This is a vidcast where we talk about building homes, style of homes, designing homes, efficiency in homes, and how-tos, all kinds of fun stuff.
Anything that has to do with homes.
That's right. And we have Jake here, who's my younger brother, and Daniel, who's my younger brother.
I'm the younger of the two.
Youngest.
I'm the oldest. My name is Seth, so Seth, Jake, Dan, and we actually are going to call back a little bit to last week's vidcast where we talked about mid-century modern homes. We talked about some of the efficiencies and some of the reasons they went away. We also talked about some of the things that make them really, really, really cool and almost catches your eye as you drive down the street type of home.
Dan did a really good job presenting.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was good.
House last week.
So if you haven't seen last week's, this one will make a little bit more sense if you go back and watch it. But this week we want to talk a little bit to you about the new century modern.
That's right.
So instead of mid-century modern, I think this new run of the making its comeback, we can call it new century modern.
It's weird to think it's almost been 100 years since it started. I mean,
that's true.
It's getting close. I mean, the 20s were kind of the Art Deco, but mid-century, that style really did start to come on in the late 20s. So it's almost been 100 years. But
well, and as we talked about, one of the reasons for it going away were the inefficiencies, and we discussed the modernization of technology, the modernization of building materials, and a lot of the things that we can bring back now. And so that's what I thought we would talk about today, is just how we implement some of those things in our homes that we design, and then kick it off to you guys to maybe introduce some of the projects we've done and what we did in those projects to make it a new century modern home.
yeah, I think this is a good opportunity to kind of go through what Daniel showed you last week and why we implemented some of the things we implemented. The design features also create efficiencies. So it's all
efficiency in what way?
Cost of build efficiency, energy efficiencies, and efficiencies in how the house flows. Those
Livability.
Imagine if you have a house that has a major pitch gable on it, and then you're taking all that lumber and you're putting it onto just a shed roof. All that material's gone.
And not only that, but also if you think of a normal house that has a gable, and then you've got your ceiling, if you will. So here's your ceiling. You have all this dead space up here.
A lot of people store their Christmas goodies in.
Yeah, you have dead space, but that's also space that creates heat and cool. And if you spray foaming, that's also space that you have to air condition and cool.
True.
So with this kind of monopitch or flat roof style, you don't have the excessive attic space that you need to take into consideration. So that helps with the efficiencies. That house that you saw last week, we heard from the owners that their summer bills ranging from $100 to $140 a month.
Yeah, $140 they said was their August bill.
We're here in North Texas where excessively it's 100 degrees.
Absolutely.
So that was a pretty good attribute to.
They also said that they went from a similar sized house and their bill was $600, and they went to this new house, $140.
Same electric company, about a mile apart.
Yeah. So I think that would speak to not just the efficiency of the way the home was built, but the way we designed the home as well. Obviously, there's attributes to both the design and the quality of the build.
Correct.
That goes into play quite a bit when you're talking about homes becoming efficient.
Yeah, and I think that the big overhangs on the roof that we put on that house helps a lot. It's got those nice tall ceilings, lots of glass. I got some of the inspiration for that from a lot of the Richard Neutra houses. But what that also creates is you're still allowed to, you let all that natural light in, but with keeping those roof lines a little bit lower and extending those out, you don't get that harsh sun coming in, especially on the kitchen side, or as you walk in, there's not as many windows on the west side because as that west sun comes down, especially in Texas, it's super intense. So we tried to put all of the windows that capture all that light more on the east side.
I noticed that it also allows us to build a higher plate line for our walls on both ends of the pitch. If you're not doing it 812 or a big gabled roof, that needs that slope. So you're usually at about an 8 or 9 foot.
That's right. By the time it comes down and you have your overhang, you're blocking your view.
Right.
And another thing about some of those Richard Neutra homes, couple of the case study homes, and some of the stuff that he always did was he really cantilevered those roof lines out, which you can't do on a gable because it's coming down too harsh. But he'd cantilever those out with no posts, which is what we tried to incorporate in this house, due to the fact that it really makes you feel like you're outside with all of the big glass. There's no post sitting out there to kind of separate you. I mean, a post isn't that big of a deal, but it's really nice to look out the window and see nothing.
And it just
but
goes back to the
nature.
minimalist aspect of these homes, and less is more.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, and it goes back to what you said with the multi-function of that cantilever. You're getting you can sit out there when it's raining. It's covering your porch as well as covering the sun from, in the August heat, July heat, from destroying your inside temperature.
Right. Another way we were able to capture that, a lot of the original Nutra homes and some of the other architects that were doing that, they were doing it with steel I-beams. But what you have to take into consideration is there was no HVAC ducting in these homes. They didn't have HVAC. They didn't have heating.
Southern California, where these homes kind of took off, you didn't need it, really.
Yeah, they had heating, but they didn't have air conditioning, and it surely wasn't forced air.
Right.
So we were able to accomplish that look and get that same cantilever with open web trusses.
Explain an open web truss, Jake.
So an open web truss, it's generally they use them for flooring in between a two-story house. That is the space in between your floors for long spans. But we took that same concept, and it's basically two 2x4s, and then inside they make a web, so that's where you get your strength, and that allows you to span large spans. So we were able to accomplish that big living room without any major beams going through or any posts.
Right.
We were able to make those spans, and then also generally the rule of thumb for cantilever is 1/3, 2/3. So if you're going to cantilever out, say 11 feet, you've got to be at least 2/3 what that is the other direction.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that's how we were able to capture kind of that stall house, if you will. The stall house.
Awesome house.
In LA, one of the mid-century houses. I think it was case study number 22. The cantilevers on that place is just unbelievable, and all of the glass in that house.
Yeah.
It's one of the most well-known case studies.
Is that the one? That's the one
Beautiful.
in Malibu?
I mean, you've got quite a drop off there. I don't know if I'd want my 3-year-old running around there, but what a view.
It's a spectacular house. But as you can see, when you look out the massive window walls on that house and there's no posts, it really makes a difference. And as well as what we were talking about earlier, it doesn't allow that harsh sun to come in and really hit those windows. Another attribute of the house that I kind of pulled from that case study, and especially Richard Nutra, we really were wanting to put a fireplace in this house, a real wood-burning masonry fireplace. And
Those are rare in this day and age.
yeah, they are. Most people are doing inserts.
Especially one that, the fireplace is kind of the heart of the home. It used to be, for sure.
Well,
Absolutely.
No one had a range. They cooked on their
Exactly.
fireplace.
And these homes, you can't just put an insert. You can't. It has to fit the rest of the aesthetics. And so it was. Yeah, I love how you were very detailed in what you wanted that fireplace to look like.
What I really wanted the fireplace to look like was open on one side, so it's a corner fireplace. But working with the mason who's been doing this his whole life, really, and we really had a hard time being able to capture that. He was worried that it wouldn't draw due to the low pitch, the low roof level. You don't get as much draw because you don't have a really high.
It's high to go with the flue.
Correct. And then on top of that, the house is so tight. A lot of these older homes in this era, they were able to create these very cool fireplaces, these kind of cantilevered fireplaces that are all open due to the amount of air that was coming in. So that also helps it draw.
So you're saying that the house, they weren't, again, as efficient, so they would have space where the air would just flow right into the house.
Through the windows and through the doors. They didn't have all the materials, again, that we have, and they didn't have the insulation. So in order to capture what I kind of tried to create, is I inset that just a little bit and brought the rock out and the brick back. So it kind of still has that cantilever look, but it's not as intense of actually having that corner fireplace. But what it created too was when you walk in the house and the fire's going, with it set back just a little bit, you can see the fire and it kind of draws you.
Well, and you did a great job of offsetting it. You used the brick on the left side, and you still gave the offset approach and the look to it, even though you weren't able to fully open one side up.
So we've almost completed another really, really cool mid-century modern type house. New century modern.
New century.
Century modern.
That's
on the lake.
I'll give that one to Daniel. I mean, that's pretty much all him, and it's spectacular.
It is spectacular.
I wouldn't go that far, Jake, but thanks. Yeah, this lake house is something we're really excited to have finished. As you can see, it's not necessarily just a flat pitch or a shallow pitch home, but it definitely has the mid-century inspired aspects to it. And one of the really cool aspects to it that we wanted to accomplish, a lot of it had to do with our awesome client wanted something cool like this. It's this, I don't know, cupola or crow's nest that was in the Herbert Johnson
Is that
home.
Francis Ford cupola?
That's different. Like a cupola or a cupola is something that's...
No, a cupola is Francis Ford Coppola, right?
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
that's right. Not Francis Ford.
So look how cool this is. See how they're able to bring that natural light in from up top in that cupola? Now this is quite an amazing extreme example of it, but we tried taking the inspiration of that and bringing it into this lake house. So you're able to bring in all the light, not just from basically the ground level.
On that note, we're working really hard to try to create these attributes and these staples from these homes at a reasonable cost, but also still give the client a beautiful, well-built home that is unique and efficient and all those amazing things that they're wanting, but also make them unique and different at a lower cost.
One other point on this lake house, you're talking about a whole wall of glass is what we're trying to accomplish. Again, floor to ceiling glass, all that can be very expensive, but we're still able to accomplish it at a cheaper price, but still deliver something amazing. And then what you wanted to accomplish with, you're talking about your overhang here. We have a 10-foot deep porch here that runs the distance of like 50 feet. And because the pitch is not so drastic, we're able to cantilever that out. Not really cantilever because we do have posts on this one, but that is also
but extend it out enough without
purpose.
having to change the pitch of that roof.
Exactly.
You're
So
able
we're
to
not
keep that
blocking the view of the lake.
right. And what I love you did on this house is the front of the house you designed with very few windows, so it's very minimalistic on the front. And we put all of the money and all of the investment in glass on that back side. So when you walk up to the house, it's impressive, but when you open that door and you walk in, it's grand. You see the lake, all of that glass. I mean, you designed that.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Well, and it's key that the minimalist on the front, just that cool corner window is, to me, it has purpose.
Yeah. In the kitchen.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a beautiful house. The standing seam you used for the siding, actually, the vertical standing seam, and then the lap and gap cedar and some stone, those are awesome.
Complimentary.
Yeah.
And on that note, I hope you enjoyed as much as I did listening to Jake and Dan stroke each other's egos on their designs. But they truly did, with those two homes, really capture what we are passionate about. And I think it is a great example of new century modern. So again, thank you for watching, and I hope it wasn't too nerdy for you.
Are you passionate about tiny motorcycles? I mean,
I'm just a big man. It's not the tiny motorcycle, I'm a big man. And next week we'll have some other stuff to talk about, and hopefully you'll watch.
Yeah.
Adios.
Good job, guys.
Thank you. I got a little warm for me.
Seth, careful. You get hot, Jake?
I got a little hot.
Thanks, Seth.
Come on in here, Dan.
Thank you.